The first thing I notice is his breathing. Not the sound of it, that comes later, but the pattern, the subtle, mechanical rise and fall of his chest as he stands in the doorway like he owns the air between us. Inhale, pausing. Exhale longer than necessary. He's always done that. Ever since I was a child. Measured breathing. Controlled breathing. Like even oxygen had to obey him. And I hate that I notice it now. I hate that my eyes lock onto that tiny expansion of his ribs beneath the thin cotton of his shirt, that my brain starts counting without permission. 1, 2, 3, because it means I'm already losing. I haven't even spoken yet. Neither has he. The room feels smaller than it should. Just the living room, same layout, same couch, same low table with the glass surface that always reflects too much light. But something about the space has collapsed inward, like the walls are listening. Or waiting. Or maybe it's just me. My fingers twitch at my side. I realize too late that I've curled them into fists so tight my nails are pressing crescents into my palm. I try to relax them. They don't respond immediately. There's a delay. A small, horrifying delay. Like my body is buffering. Still working on that. One thing, he says. His voice isn't loud. It never is. That's part of it. It never needs to be. I don't answer. Not because I don't have one. I've rehearsed answers for years. Entire conversations that loop endlessly in my head like unfinished arguments. But because the moment he speaks, something inside me. One tilt. Like a glass set too close to the edge of a table. Not falling. Not yet. Just one. Wrong. That project, he adds, as if clarifying something that was never unclear. What do you call it again? My throat tightens. It's ridiculous. I know it is. It's just a question. A simple question. But it isn't. It never is. Because he already knows. He always knows. He just wants to hear how I say it. Wants to hear if I hesitate. Wants to hear if I believe it. My voice cracks on the first syllable. I stop. Reset. Try again. It's a series, he repeats. Not mocking. Not exactly. But the way he says it slowly, like tasting each word, makes it feel like something fragile that might break if handled incorrectly. Or something already broken. And people. What? Watch this series, I swallow. Yes, how many? There it is. Numbers. Proof. Validation packaged into something measurable, something he can dissect, evaluate, diminish. I open my mouth. Close it. Open it again. Why is this hard? Why is this suddenly so hard? Enough, I say finally. It's the wrong answer. I know it the moment it leaves my mouth. It hangs there useless and vague, like a weak defense. His head tilts slightly. Just slightly. But I feel it like a shift in gravity. Enough, he repeats. And then he exhales. That long, controlled exhale. Something in my chest tightens in response, involuntary, like a mirror. That one. Good, he says. But it isn't. We both know it isn't. Because he didn't ask for reassurance. He asked for something he could weigh. And I didn't give it to him. Which means in his world it doesn't exist. Silence stretches between us. It doesn't feel empty. It feels loaded. Every second that passes thickens it, like air turning into something more viscous, harder to move through. I become aware of the hum of the ceiling fan. The faint ticking of the clock on the wall. The way my own breathing has gone uneven, shallow, like I'm trying not to disturb something invisible in the room. Your cousin, he says suddenly, just got promoted. Of course he did. Of course that's where this goes. I nod. That's all I give him, a sound. Not even a word. It feels safer that way. Less committal. He's leading a team now, my father continues. 20 people, 20, a number. Concrete. Impressive. He doesn't say it outright, but it's there, embedded in the structure of his sentences. Comparison without accusation. Pressure without force. And somehow that's worse. That's good for him, I say. My voice sounds distant, like it's coming from somewhere slightly behind me. I notice it. I don't like that I notice it. You're the same age, he says. There it is. Direct now. Clean. Simple. No room to misinterpret. I feel something in my chest begin to compress. Not sharply. Not suddenly. Just gradually. Like a slow tightening of invisible bands around my rib. I know, do you? The question lands softly. too softly, like it's meant to sink in rather than strike. And it does with sink deeper. Because it's not about whether I know. It's about whether I understand, whether I accept the implication, whether I recognize my position in the hierarchy he's constructed. And the worst part is that a piece of me does. A small, quiet, traitorous piece. I feel it stirring somewhere behind my thoughts, whispering something I don't want to hear. You're behind. You're late. You're no, I say too quickly. The word comes out sharper than I intended. It cuts through the room, through the silence, through him. His eyes narrow slightly. Not in anger, in interest. Like I've just done something unexpected. And that's dangerous. I realize too late that I've stepped into something, a shift, change in the rhythm of the interaction. My heart starts to beat faster. Too fast. I try to correct, but my thoughts are suddenly tangled. I know. Just what? Just what? The sentence collapses before it can form. I feel heat rising up my neck, spreading into my face. My hands twitch again. I force them still. You just what? He asks. There's no aggression in his tone, no urgency. If anything, he sounds patient. And that makes it worse. Because now the pressure is mine. The expectation is mine. I have to fill the space. I have to complete the thought. I have to justify I'm working on something, I say. There. It's out. Wake up. Vague. Insufficient. But it's something. He watches me. Doesn't respond immediately. And in that pause, that tiny stretched out pause, my mind starts to spiral. He's thinking. He's evaluating. He's already decided. I can see it happening even if nothing on his face changes. Because I've seen this before. 1,000 times. The quiet judgment. The silent calculation. The conclusion that never needs to be spoken because it's already understood. And this. Something, he says slowly, will it lead to something real? There it is, the word. Real. Like everything else is. Not. Like everything I've done, everything I've built, everything I've poured hours, days, years into exists in some lesser category. A shadow of legitimacy. My throat tightens again. I want to argue. I want to list numbers, statistics, engagement metrics, growth curves. I want to prove it. But something stops me. Not him. Not directly. It's internal, a hesitation. A flicker of doubt. Because the moment I imagine saying those numbers out loud, I also imagine his response. The way he would nod. The way he would listen. And then the way he would dismantle it. Piece by piece. Not with anger. Not with ridicule. Just logic. Well, that's nice, he'd say. But what does it mean? And I wouldn't have an answer that satisfies him. Because the answer I have isn't built for his framework. It's built for something else. Something less tangible. And suddenly that feels like a weakness. I feel it shifting inside me. That quiet, traitorous voice again. Maybe it is nothing. Maybe it's just no, I say again, but softer this time. Not to him, to myself. Or maybe not even that. Maybe just into the space. He tilts his head again. There's that movement. That tiny, precise adjustment that feels like a needle sliding under skin. No, he repeats. I shake my head. But it's not convincing. I can feel it. My own body betraying the lack of certainty behind the gesture. It's real, I say. The words feel heavy. Like I have to push them out. Building. Another vague word. Another abstraction. I hate it. I hate how it sounds. I hate how weak it sounds. Building, he echoes. And then he nods. Once, slowly. I see, but he doesn't. Or maybe he does. And that's worse. Because if he sees it and still just make sure, he says, turning slightly, as if the conversation is already over, you're not wasting time. There's no emphasis on the last word. No dramatic pause. But it lands harder than anything else he said. Wasting time. I feel something inside me. Shift. Not break. Not yet. But something loosens. Like a screw turning just slightly out of place. And suddenly everything feels less stable. I'm not, I say. But the words come out too fast. Too defensive. And that's all he needs. He doesn't respond. He doesn't have to. because the conversation is already done. In his mind, in the structure he operates within, he's made his assessment, delivered his verdict, and now he's moving on. He steps past me, close enough that I can feel the subtle displacement of air, close enough that I catch the faint scent of his cologne, something sharp, clean, controlled. Just like him, I don't move. I stay where I am, in the doorway, half in the room, half out. Dog. And for a moment, just a moment, I feel like if I don't move now, I might never move again. Like this position will solidify, freeze, become permanent. A snapshot of indecision, of incompletion. Of my chest tightens. Breathing. I need to breathe. I inhale. It feels shallow. Insufficient. I try again. Deeper. But it catches halfway. Like there's something blocking it. Like the air is thicker than it should be. I exhale. Too quickly. Too forcefully. It doesn't help. Nothing helps. And then from somewhere deeper than thought, a realization surfaces. Slow, heavy, unavoidable. He didn't mock me. Not directly. Not this time. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't laugh. Didn't dismiss. He just asked questions. Simple questions. And somehow that feels worse. Because now the doubt doesn't feel external. It feels like it's coming from me. Like he didn't plant it. He just exposed it. And that is something I don't know how to fight. I push myself away from the doorway. My legs feel slightly unsteady. Not enough to fall. Just enough to notice. Each step feels deliberate. Like I have to think about it. Left, right, left. The floor beneath me feels unfamiliar. Like it's shifted slightly in alignment. Or maybe it's just my perception. I reach my room. Close the door. Click of the latch sounds louder than it should. Sharp. Final. I lean against it. Let my head fall back. Stare at the ceiling. The fan is spinning. Slow. Steady. Controlled. Just like his breathing. I close my eyes. And immediately the conversation replays. Not in sequence. Not cleanly. Fragment. Words. Tones. Expressions. Enough do you, something real, wasting time, they overlap. Distort. Echo. And beneath them my own voice. Unsteady. Uncertain. Defensive. Wrong. I feel my stomach twist. A slow, nauseating churn. Like something inside me is trying to turn itself inside out. I push off the door. Walk to my desk. My laptop is there. Open. Waiting. The screen glows softly. Familiar. Save. Or it should be. I sit down. My fingers hover over the keyboard. For a moment I hesitate. Just a moment. But it's enough. Because I notice. That hesitation. That tiny, almost imperceptible pause. And suddenly it feels massive. Like a crack forming in something that used to be solid. Why am I hesitating? I've done this 1,000 times. I know what to do. I know what comes next. So why my fingers lower? Touch the keys. They feel colder than usual. Or maybe my hands are warmer. I can't tell. I start typing. The words come. Slowly. Then faster. Then they stop. Mid-sentence, no warning. No clear reason. Just stop. My mind blank. Not empty. Just inaccessible. Like there's something there but I can't reach it. I stare at the screen. The cursor blinks. Steady. Rhythmic. Patient. Waiting for me. And for the first time, a thought surfaces that doesn't feel like mine. What if he's right? It's quiet. Soft. Almost polite. But it lands with a weight that doesn't match its tone. I freeze. My fingers still resting on the keyboard. I don't move. I don't breathe. Because if I do, if I acknowledge it, it might expand, take up more space, become harder to ignore. But it's already there, already spreading, subtle, insidious. What if this is nothing? What if it leads nowhere? What if you are no? The word escapes my lips before I can stop. Sharp, immediate, defensive. But it doesn't erase the thought, it just sits beside it. Two opposing forces. Neither winning, just existing. I stare at the screen. at the half-written sentence, at the blinking cursor, and something inside me begins to unravel. Not dramatically, not all at once, just a thread, pulled loose, slowly, quietly, but enough to change the structure of everything it's connected to. And I can feel it, even if I can't yet see how far it goes. The cursor keeps blinking. It doesn't rush me. That's the worst part. If it stuttered, if it lagged, if it judged, if it did anything other than sit there in perfect, indifferent rhythm, maybe I could push against it. Maybe I could externalize the pressure, turn it into something mechanical, something solvable. But it doesn't, it just, what? Wait. And somehow that makes the space inside my head louder. I stare at the unfinished sentence. The last word sits there like it doesn't belong to me anymore. Like I wrote it a long time ago, in a different state, in a version of myself that had access to something I can't reach right now. I try to remember what I was about to say. Not the exact phrasing, just the direction, the intention, the shape of the thought. But it slipped. Every time I reach for it, it shifts slightly out of alignment, like trying to grasp something submerged in water that refracts just enough to distort its position. I press a key. Backspace. The last word disappears. A small, clean erasure, it feels. What? Relieving. Too relieving. I press it again. Another word gone. And again. And again. Each deletion gives me a brief, sharp sense of control, like cutting away something rotten, but it's followed immediately by a hollow expansion, a widening space where something used to be. I don't stop. I keep pressing. Until the entire sentence is gone. Until the line is empty. Until the cursor is blinking against nothing. I exhale. It comes out uneven. I didn't realize I was holding my breath. For a moment I just sit there, hands hovering, mind, what? Not quiet but not coherent either. Fragments again. Not words this time. Sensation. That look he gave me. The slight tilt of his head. The way he said real. I feel something tighten in my chest again. Different now. Deeper. Less sharp, more. What? Structural. Like something foundational is under strain. I place my fingers back on the keyboard. I start typing again. Slower this time. More careful. As if precision might protect me. As if choosing the right words will anchor something. The first sentence comes out. What? Fine. Not great. Not strong. But functional. I move to the next. And halfway through it happens again. The stop. But this time it's not blank. It's crowded. Too many thoughts. Layered. Contradictory. Overlapping. You're forcing it. No, you're just out of rhythm. This is normal. This isn't normal. You've written worse before. You've never felt like this before. My fingers stay frozen. The sentence hangs incomplete. And suddenly I'm aware of my breathing again. Too fast. Too shallow. I inhale, try to slow it. But the act of trying makes it worse. Like manually controlling something that's supposed to be automatic only exposes how fragile it is. I push my chair back. The legs scrape against the floor louder than expected. The sound feels invasive. Too sharp for the room. I stand up. Too quickly. A slight dizziness. Just a flicker. But enough to disorient. I steady myself with a hand on the desk. The surface feels solid. Reliable. I press my palm against it harder than necessary. Grounding. I need to ground. I look around the room. Everything is the same. Same walls. Same object. Same arrangement. But there's a subtle shift in how they feel. Like the familiarity has thinned. Like I'm seeing everything through a layer that wasn't there before. I walk to the mirror. I don't remember deciding to. I just, what? End up there. My reflection looks back. Immediate, accurate, and yet slightly delayed. Not physically, but perceptually. Like there's a fraction of a second between seeing and recognizing. I stare at my own face, trying to read it, trying to find something stable, something that says, you're fine, this is temporary, you're still you. But the expression I see is, what? Neutral, too neutral, like a placeholder. I raise my hand. The reflection mirrors it perfectly. Of course it does, but the synchronization feels, what? Uncanny. I move closer, examine detail, eyes, There's something off. Not visible. Not obvious. But something in the way they hold focus. Or fail to. I lean in further. My breath fogs the glass slightly. For a moment the reflection blurs. And in that blur there's a strange sense of relief. Like distortion is easier to accept than precision. The fog clears. The face returns. Unchanged. Unhelpful. I step back. Turn away. The room feels smaller now. Or maybe I'm just more aware of its boundaries. I move back to the desk. Sit down. The chair feels different. Less comfortable. Or maybe I'm more. Tense. I look at the screen again. The empty line. The blinking cursor. It doesn't feel patient anymore. It feels expectant. Like it knows something I don't. Like it's waiting for me to fail. I clench my jaw. Start typing. Faster. Less careful. Words spill out. Not good words. Not structured. But words. Momentum. I need momentum. I write a full paragraph. Then another. I don't stop to read. I don't evaluate. I just move it. Keep moving. Because stopping is where it breaks. I feel a slight sense of relief building. A fragile one. Like thin glass holding pressure. Maybe this is it. Maybe I just needed to push through. Maybe a sound. Behind me. Softly. Almost nothing. But enough. I freeze. My fingers hover mid-keystroke. I don't turn immediately. I listen. Silent. But not empty silent. Occupied silent. Like something is there just not moving. My chest tightens. Slowly. Deliberately. I turn. The door is closed. Of course it is. I remember closing it. The handle is still. The frame unchanged. Nothing. There's nothing there. I stare at it anyway. For longer than necessary. Long enough that the stillness starts to feel intentional. Like it's being maintained. Like something could move but chooses not to. I swallow. Turn back to the screen. The words I wrote, they don't look right. Not wrong exactly. But disconnected. Like they were written by someone else. The tone is off. The rhythm is inconsistent. The meaning feels hollow. I read the paragraph again. And a thought slips in. Quiet. Precise. This isn't good. I feel it immediately. That same tightening. That same internal shift. No. I wrote it. It's fine. It's just you're compensating. The thought overlaps mine. Not louder. Just clearer. You're trying to prove something. My fingers curl slightly. You're not writing. You're defending. No, I whisper. But the word feels weak. Unconvincing. I scroll up. Read more. Older work. Previous entries. They felt different, didn't they? Or am I remembering them wrong? They had weight. They had direction. Did they? I can't tell. The memory feels unreliable. Like it's being rewritten as I access it. I scroll further. More content. More words. All of them suddenly feel questionable. Like I'm seeing flaws that weren't there before. Or maybe they were always there. Maybe I just never noticed. My breathing becomes uneven again. I lean back. Press my hands against my eyes. Darkness. Temporary. But not empty. The thoughts are still there. Louder now. Stacking. What if none of this is real? What if it's all just noise? What if you've been? I drop my hand. Too fast. The light hits my eyes harshly. I blink. The room feels sharper. Edges more defined. Too defined. I look at the screen again. At the document. At the work. And suddenly I don't recognize it. Not emotionally. Not cognitively. Just ownership. It doesn't feel like mine. Like I've been adjacent to it. Involved. But not responsible. And that thought, that shift, it lands deeper than anything else. Because if it's not mine, then what is? Who is? I push the chair back again. Stand. The movement feels automatic now. Less deliberate. Less controlled. I pace. Once. Twice. The room feels narrower with each pass. like the walls are inching closer. Or maybe my perception is compressing. I stop, look at the desk, at the laptop, at the glowing screen, and then I see it. Not physically, not visibly, but conceptually a connection, a line. From the screen to him, to his voice, to his question, to that word, real. My stomach dropped, slow, heavy. What if this only exists because I needed it to? What if it's not? Independent? What if it's just reaction, defense, rebellion? And if that's true, then it's not mine. It's his, just inverted, just reshaped, but still defined by him. The thought spreads, quickly now, too quickly. Then what are you without it? Without this, my chest tightens sharply. I grab the edge of the desk, grip it, hard. The surface digs into my fingers. I welcome the sensation. Physical, concrete, real. Unlike my gaze drift to the corner of the screen. A small notification, an email. Unread. I don't remember it arriving. I don't remember hearing anything. But it's there. Subject line. Contract revision, urgent. My name is visible. And beneath it his. My father's company. My breath catches. Not gradually. Not subtly. It just stopped. For a full second. Maybe more. I stare at the screen. The words don't change. They don't rearrange. They stay exactly where they are. Which somehow makes it worse. I move the cursor. Slowly. Carefully. Like any sudden motion might disrupt something fragile. I click. The email open. Text. Formal. Structured. Cold. I don't read it all. I can't. My eyes lock onto one section. One line. Content creator listed as primary consultant. My name. Again. Clear. Undeniable. And beneath it his signature. Already there. Already approved. Already done. My grip on the desk tightens further. My fingers start to ache. I don't release. I can't. Because if I do, I feel like something else might give way. Something internal. Something I don't understand. A thought tries to form, but it doesn't complete. It fragments halfway, he knew. He didn't tell you. He signed why. The question echoes, not loud, but deep, and there's no immediate answer. Just one implication, layered, unfolding. Was this support, control, coincidence, calculation? I replay the conversation, every word, every pause, every look. Will it lead to something real? My chest tightens again. Harder this time, because now that question feels different. Not dismissive, not skeptical, but positioning. Like he already knew the outcome. Like he was measuring my reaction to something he had already set in motion. Like I was behind, not just in career, but in awareness, in control, in authorship. My breathing becomes uneven again. Faster, shallower. I release the desk. Finally, my hands tremble slightly. I stare at them. They don't feel entirely connected. Like the signal between intention and movement has a slight delay. I flex my fingers, they respond. But the sensation lags, just enough to notice. I look back at the screen, at the email, at the contract, at my name, his name, length, official, permanent, and something inside me, that loose thread, it pulls. Harder, unraveling more. Faster now. Too fast. I step back. The room tilts. Not physically, but perceptually. Like the axis has shifted slightly off center. I try to steady myself. Focus on something. Anything, the wall, the desk, the screen. But nothing feels stable. Everything feels reference, connected, not independent, not self-contained. My thoughts start looping. If he signed it, if he knew, if this was already, then what have I been doing? The question doesn't land cleanly, it splinters, expands, consumes. What was mine? What wasn't? Where did I start? Where did he end? Or was there ever a separation? My chest tightens to the point of discomfort, borderline pain. I inhale sharply. The air feels thin, insufficient. I exhale. It doesn't help. I look at the mirror again. Across the room. Distant now. Further than it should be. My reflection is there. Still. Waiting. I walk toward it. Slowly. Each step feels uncertain. Like the ground might shift. I stop in front of it. Look. The face is the same. Of course it is. But the context, the meaning has changed. The eyes look back. Searching. But for what? I lean in. Closer. Close enough to see the smallest details. Again. Lines. Micro-expressions. And then a thought. Clear. Sharp. Unavoidable. If this isn't entirely yours, then who are you performing for? I freeze. The question doesn't echo, it settles. Heavy. Final. Because there's no immediate defense. No quick rejection. No, the word comes out, but it's hollow. I don't believe it. Not fully. And that's enough. That's more than enough. Because the certainty is gone. Not replaced. Just removed. And in its absence, everything else starts to shift. Subtly, but irreversibly. I stare at my reflection, waiting for something. A correction, a reassurance, a return to something familiar. But it doesn't come, it just stays neutral, unresolved. And behind me, the screen still glows. The contract still exists. The names still align. Unchanged, unaffected by whatever is happening inside me. Which means whatever has shifted isn't out there. It's here, internal, structural, and it's not stopping, not slowing, just continuing, quietly, deepening. I take a breath. It feels uneven. I don't try to fix it. I don't try to control it, because I'm no longer sure what part of me is doing the controlling, or if there's anything left that isn't already influenced, defined, signed.